Huh?
We're going to start that over again. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Movie Couple Live. This is a show where we talk about the latest in movie news and pop culture. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
And welcome. Happy Saturday. Things are a little crazy in the Zany house today. We, anybody in the chat watching, if you live in Southern California, LA area specifically, you are probably very aware of the Santa Ana winds. Which is kind of like, is it once a year or is it a couple of times a year or what?
It's not that often. I mean, every now we still get, it gets windy every year around this time, but we only get really bad winds like once every 10 years kind of a thing. And 10 years ago, we had really bad winds. So it's about that time for us to have them again.
Every 10 years. So we experienced it last night, and we're actually still experiencing it. It's starting to seem like it's dying down, but when we took out Navi this morning, it was pretty windy, and
there was debris like everywhere.
And
people's trash cans got knocked over, garbage got
one
flung
of our
everywhere.
rain gutter spouts kind of got blown off the balcony. Everything's fine. We got it back. We just had to pick it back up because it was downstairs. But we were a little worried that it would, knock on wood, that it would impact internet and or power, because so many other like neighboring areas have experienced that. Like people have lost their power since last night. Our power did flicker on and off a few times last night. So we decided to shut everything down. We got the candles ready. We got the flashlights. We were ready to go. Luckily, we didn't have to lose power. So that's kind of what caused a little bit of the delay too, is we're kind of like scrambling a little bit. Like the wind was so loud, I couldn't sleep.
Yeah, it was a rough night.
Yeah.
So, but we're here, we're ready, and we're off and going with some of our movie news.
Yes, and let me go ahead and pull up the show notes, because sometimes I forget that I'm not working from my my desktop, and I think I'll have things pulled up.
All the tabs up and ready to go.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh wait, no, that's on the other
wrong computer. But it is Saturday, so on Saturday streams, whenever there is a Disney Plus, Marvel, and or Star Wars show, we usually dedicate our Saturday to talking about it. So today we will be talking about spoilers for the Book of Boba Fett, episode 4.
We're also going to be talking about Mary Elizabeth Winstead joining the cast of Ahsoka.
Yes. So that's actually a huge news. So why don't we just go ahead and jump right off into that? It's funny. The news broke, I believe, yesterday, and it was during the John and Wendy show over on John Roca's Twitch and YouTube channel. I think the VOD is available, but this was an exclusive by The Hollywood Reporter. Actress Mary Elizabeth Winstead, you may know her as Huntress from Birds of Prey, or you may know her as Kate from the Netflix movie. She has now joined the cast of Ahsoka, and we know that we will be seeing Hayden Christensen in the series, as well as Natasha Louis Bordizzo, who is going to be playing Sabine. We're not sure if we're going to get to see Ezra. One would think so, because Thrawn is also said to be in this series. But as of right now, since the news has released, we don't really have an idea of who she could be playing. It could be a brand new character, which would be totally cool. I always like to welcome new characters.
Well, they're going to have to introduce a lot of new characters too.
Yeah, because so much time has passed.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also I'm a little interested because they didn't say whether or not she was going to play a new character or an existing character. Maybe they're trying to keep it under wraps on exactly who she's playing so we can have like a big reveal. So I hope that happens. And I'm also curious on Hayden Christensen's role because he's going to be in Ahsoka and Obi-Wan. So this is going to be a chance for Hayden Christensen to make a comeback.
Yes. And Marvin, don't worry. I see your super chat. We're totally going to get to it right after this little bit. I was on a roll and I went with it. And then I was like, oh, I have to address the super chat as well. So don't worry. We're going to come right back to that. Immediately when I saw that she was cast and I kind of thought about what characters are confirmed to be in the show, obviously Ahsoka, obviously Sabine, and it made me immediately think of Hera.
Yeah.
And I think Mary Elizabeth Winstead would make a great Hera, even though I would also love to see Vanessa Marshall take on the role, who is the voice actress for Hera, because we know that it's not impossible because Katie Sackhoff is doing the very thing, you know, but again, Katie Sackhoff, we've seen her in so many live action things, like she plays Starbucks. So it kind of, I feel like with Katie was a natural choice. So we don't know, obviously, this is all speculation. We don't know if Hera will be in
I hope she is.
Ahsoka.
I really, really hope she is.
And we also don't know if that is who Mary Elizabeth Winstead will be playing. A lot of people are saying maybe she could play an Inquisitor, which would be kind of cool as well.
You know what? She does play a lot of those kind of characters to where she kind of does that kind of like that deadpan, I'm going to kill you kind of character. You know, Huntress was like that. Kate was like that. She's also done a lot of horror movies. So trying to play kind of like that scary character really would be right up her alley.
Yeah. So regardless of what character she plays, regardless of what characters from past shows and from the stories that we already know about, very familiar with Star Wars, like whether we see those characters or not, I am very happy with this announcement. I don't care who she plays. I'm just excited for her to be a part of the Star Wars universe because I think that is really cool. Let's go to the chat and see what you guys are saying. Two-Fan, thank you so much. Two-Fan writes, smash the like button, folks.
Smash it.
Helps us get a lot of more visibility on right here on YouTube. Cybo Goblin says, I'm hoping Mary's been cast as Dr. Aphra ahead of getting her own series. That'd be interesting. That
would be kind of smart to kind of, if you're going to make her that character, to actually put her in another series, kind of like what they did with Echo.
So I'm going to look up something real quick. You keep talking.
I mean, to establish that character ahead of time. So when she does get her own series, people in the audience that is watching the Disney Plus shows are going to be already familiar with her character.
Yeah.
So, ooh.
Which I'm just kind of looking through the cover of some of the Dr. Aphra stuff.
And you know what? I think she could kind of play that kind of crazy psychotic character very well too. So I'm really interested to see what role they give.
True question. This is not me trying to make a rise of anything, and I'm asking like genuine question, no shade, no hate to the chat who are familiar with Dr. Aphra. Is she not Asian? I'm asking. I'm legit asking.
Off the top of my head, I'm not 100% sure now that you mention it. Yeah. But because in the pictures and stuff, she does seem to have
features.
Seem to have Asian features.
So you guys, let us know in the chat. Were you gonna say something? I'm sorry.
I was looking at the
Okay, so maybe I'm not the only one. Okay, because I thought maybe Absolute Riot says I thought Aphra was Asian too, and MK Songbird says thought Dr. Aphra is Asian. Right. And so that's why, I did a quick search and I couldn't find exactly that. But like, if let's say she is, I would love to see they cast an Asian actress in the role. Not to say there's anything like Mary Elizabeth Winstead will indeed crush any role she is given because she's that talented of an actress. But I would also like to see
especially if that's
Dr.
the way they
Aphra is
originally drew
correct.
her and originally wrote her, then it would make sense. She's not that new of a character to
No,
where,
she's not new.
I mean,
She's just not in like the cinematic Star Wars universe.
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
in
yeah,
comics.
yeah. To where they could kind of be flexible with, hey, we already know more about her, kind of a thing.
You know how I found out about Dr. Aphra was because Anne Campia cosplayed as her. And I was like, who's this character? And then from there, I learned about the comics and I was like, wow, you look just like her. Like uncanny. Okay, let's go ahead and you guys keep talking about that in the chat. We're going to go ahead and get to Marvin's super chat.
Super chat.
So I don't
Thank
lose
you
it
so much.
in the comments. Thank you, Marvin. Marvin writes, just saw Scream 5. I call it dibs on leading lady like no one's business. If you can make your own slasher meta movie, rules, cast, story, cycle, and etc.
I'm not the best person to ask about this because I actually don't watch very many slasher films. I don't watch very many horror movies, kind of a thing.
Did you like Fear Street? Did you watch that with me?
I did not watch that with you.
Damn, that was a good series. It's really good. It's not too scary, and there's some like campy moments that you can be like, yes, because it fits within like, you know, the time period that they had set, but it was just so good and so fun. So if I were to do any sort of slasher, I think I'd follow like almost very much following the rules of like Scream 5 and Fear Street, just because I like that. I maybe with Fear Street, they had a little bit of like the fantastical without spoiling anything in case people want to watch it. They did include a little bit of that towards because there's 3 separate movies, if you will, that makes up one giant Fear Street saga, I guess, or trilogy. But the Scream doesn't really have like a supernatural, fantastical element to it, and I think that's what I would keep it more rooted in. I
think I would like to actually have it be a little bit more in the world of fantasy and fantastic kind of slasher.
Oh, you
film.
would?
You know, honestly, I think it's just because you just finished Little Nightmares 2. So not to spoil Little Nightmares 2 and the ending to Little Nightmares because you just finished it. But the concept that is going around about who the tall man is and who you are playing as and who 6 is, and that kind of storyline of being kind of like a repetitive loop kind of thing, to where it's the vicious cycle. I think that would be a really interesting concept to kind of to do in a story, and to have it be that being what is going on with your murderer / victims.
Interesting. Oh, that's interesting.
And kind of take that concept of it just being that vicious cycle.
Wow.
So, I mean, I think there are some slasher films that do that. I think, what is it called? Saw kind of does that. Okay, now I have not seen any of the Saw movies.
Not even the first one?
Nope.
Carrie Ellis is in it.
Nope. Have not watched them. But what I have heard happens is that like the winner, the victim that survives becomes the new Jigsaw or something, and then it's the new Jigsaw that does. Oh, we are lost. Did we? Oh, we just lost.
We're still here.
We're still good.
We're still here. Don't worry. We'll come back in 2 seconds. This is now a podcast.
That's all right. It works. It works. But what I was talking about was how that kind of cycle is really interesting to would be kind of interesting to kind of dive into.
Hang on, guys.
Did the camera oh, wait a second, hold on a second, let's see if
no, it's not that, it's this.
Okay, wanted to check and see if it was actually like
we're back. We're back. It was one of my connections, because the way I have it hooked up. We are okay. At least you can still hear us.
We're fine.
Ways to post us. This is a new look for the show. Welcome to a visual podcast where you see absolutely nothing and only hear disembodied voices.
Exactly.
OBS is being a butt today.
Yes,
Navi, where are you?
Navi,
why aren't you working on this?
No, why did you do that? Now
no
Navi's
treat
gonna
for
come
you.
here. Now Navi's gonna come over here and start bugging me, be like, Daddy, let me up.
Don't let her up.
So I think that would just be a fun concept to kind of explore, to where, and also why it's happening doesn't need to be explained. It's all kind of focused around that central individual on why it's doing that.
I hear her. She's here. Well, you're too late, Navi. I've already fixed the problem.
Yeah.
You're fired.
So yeah, that would be kind of my idea. What about you? What would you think of?
I would keep it more grounded. I like that there is. I do like the concept of like, maybe the one of the victims of the slasher would somehow, because they're so traumatized with it, and like somehow that messes with their head, or the killer say, if you don't keep doing this, no, then that makes it supernatural, and I don't want that. I don't want that. No, I think I would do maybe a one-off, and if there happened to be sequels, it would be a copycat with a slightly different MO. I feel like I need to listen to more of like true crime podcasts to really come up with a more concrete idea. But I do like things that are a little bit more rooted in reality, just because it makes it very unsettling to watch. Why weren't you doing your job?
Because I'm cute.
How do you say no to that?
You like the whole.
She's so dirty.
So dirty. I need to be cleaned. I don't want to take a bath.
She smells bad.
Yes, she does, and I'm having her right next to my face.
Oh, all right, you guys. We're gonna go ahead and get into this next super chat, and then we have a couple of more news items, and then we will get into the Book of Boba Fett. This next super chat comes from Zork, the Dark One. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Zork.
Hi, Wendy and Ron. Dustin was wondering if you guys are Resident Evil fans. Yes, to a degree.
Yeah.
Yes, to a degree.
I played the first one. I played the second one, and that's pretty much it. I remember being so mad. And also when you're talking about, say, like the movies, I was so excited for the very first Resident Evil with Mila Jovovich. And I was like, yeah, oh my gosh, this is going to be awesome. We're going to see this mansion. We're going to have and I was so mad. I was so mad at that first movie. I never watched another Resident Evil movie ever again.
They didn't get better.
Nope. And I just kept on hearing how bad they got. And now, if you like them, that's awesome.
Yes.
I know they had a very strong following, hence why they made more and more and more and more and more and more and more.
So obviously people like them. They came out with a new one just recently. That had, Chris was in it, Claire was in it, Leon was
they did
in
like
it.
they did it.
We haven't watched it yet.
A remake one. Oh, you're talking about the new movie, Welcome to Raccoon City. I've heard it's so bad.
Really?
I have heard it's horrible, and to where I watched Jeremy Johns' review on it, and he was like, "This is terrible."
What's the rating?
I think it was either
Better If You're Drunk.
I think it was either dog shit or
oh, that's low on the Jeremy Johns scale.
The second one up from that, so it was either the worst or one step up from it. So yeah, I've heard really bad things about it. So I'm like, you know what? Not my kind of movie. Not really interested.
Yeah. We keep saying that we are going to go visit Seattle. We have a couple of friends who live in that area, in the Washington, Seattle area, and like want to go and like visit Jeremy because we only hung out with him when he was his like year trip into LA. When he lived in LA for about a year. That's when I saw him like all the time. And then now I obviously I don't see him at all. I text with him now and again, but it really is.
Well, he also really, really likes
very
Seattle.
Busy.
And he's also very, very busy.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like, he came down here to LA and he's like, you know what? I think I prefer Seattle. And you know what?
It's beautiful.
I would love to go up there and visit.
It's beautiful. I have another friend who lives up there and she would post photos of her going hiking or whatever. And I'm like, is this real? So maybe one day.
Wait. Marvin Martin, been to Seattle, but watch out for animals. Is there like a lot of wild animals in Seattle? Coyotes, maybe mountain lions.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
we have those in LA too, but they don't roam. Well, the coyotes do come down to the residential area.
They were talking about dinosaurs and mountain lions, and they're like, I could survive a mountain lion attack, and everyone was like, no, you can't.
It was Ben Goddard who posted the clip from SCN Live to his Instagram. And he's like, I could totally survive a mountain lion, but the rest of the panel was like, no, you can't.
You would die.
But I love the confidence, though. I will say that. And sometimes that is something you do need in order to survive. It's the mindset of I will survive, and then you do.
I think, though, what he was really trying to get to was the fact that if you had to go up against a T-Rex or a mountain lion, he's like, oh, I'll choose the mountain lion because I have a better chance of surviving.
But a T-Rex, if it's true about if you don't move, they can't see it. What if you just like...
It's not. It's not true.
Damn it. Do they have incredibly good eyesight because they're predators?
Oh, no. They're starting to think more and more that T-Rexes were more scavengers. So true, they would have really, really good sense of smell. So it doesn't matter if you didn't move, it would just smell you and be like, oh, okay.
Well, okay. Then I would pick a mountain lion as well. Because I have maybe a slightly better chance at surviving and escaping a mountain lion. I don't know how good my chances are because I'm small. I think some mountain lions can be bigger than me.
And plus, it's, we have so little information about, dinosaurs, and it's still evolving so much.
Yeah.
Like the whole idea that, they probably most of them were covered in feathers.
Yeah.
And the fact that the whole name dinosaur, terrible lizard, is actually very inaccurate because they're not lizards. They evolved into birds. Look at a chicken. That's a dinosaur.
Check out a bird. There's a species called the secretary birds. Check them out. They have like total raptor kind of peacocks too.
Yeah.
Peacocks
if you want to see a modern day dinosaur, look at a secretary bird.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, that's what I can see, that how they now evolved into
the
that.
eyes and everything. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get into our next piece of news, and then we will get to Boba Fett. This real quick piece of news, just because we're big fans of Mission Impossible and the franchise, and we've been talking about, Mission Impossible 7 and 8. Unfortunately, it has been delayed, but honestly, in the last couple of years, it used to be news. Now it's just like, oh well, okay.
And it's weird because, there are some movie productions that were like, okay, we got it under control. We were able to finish production. We were able to finish post-production. And they were able to get out their movie. Some movies, on the other hand, just can't seem to catch a break. Black Panther 2 is one of them.
I heard Lupita caught COVID.
And also now Mission Impossible 7 and 8 are one of those productions that just can't catch a break.
So it's been pushed all the way back to next year. It will open on July 14th, 2023, and then potentially the 8th one, the following one, will open June 28th, 2024. So this is the latest of several moves for Mission Impossible 7 over the last year, last 2 years, with COVID and everything, and it the theatrical releases, like, people are finding problems, like, do we go see this? And now there's the Omicron surge, so some people are like, okay, let me stay home. So I think that maybe has a part to do with their decision. The safety and the safety for cast and crew is important. We all remember Tom Cruise yelling at people about, like, don't go and be stupid. We're all trying to work. Let's not catch COVID so we can continue to work and wrap this thing. So because it's been in production for a really long time at this point.
And it makes a lot of sense too. It's just the fact that because once you kind of get COVID in your production, it's really, really hard to get it out.
Yes.
So, it's just such a bummer too, because there's one big thing that we've always been hearing is that Tom Cruise wants to put Mission Impossible in space and to be the first production that actually films in space.
If anyone can do it, it's going to be Tom Cruise.
Exactly.
If anybody's going to do it, it's going to be him, because.
So if they're shooting that big,
not impossible for Tom Cruise.
Mission inconceivable. But the fact, if that's what they're really trying to go for, I don't know if they're going for it for Mission Impossible 7 or 8. Which one they're trying to go into space for, but it would make sense that it would be a tough thing to kind of pull off right now.
Yeah.
It's just, even though, yes, we have people going to space, people who are not astronauts going to space, it's going to be really hard to get what you need in order to film a movie
production director,
up to space.
Technicians, actual astronauts who are trained to be in space to troubleshoot any sort of issues that could come up, cameras, and it's a lot. It's not just like, I have an idea and tomorrow we execute. It's like, no, it's like, I think it'll take a couple of years. But regards to the delay of both Mission Impossible movies, this is a direct quote from the studio. After thoughtful consideration, Paramount Pictures and Skydance have decided to postpone the release date for Mission Impossible 7 and 8 in response to delays due to the ongoing pandemic. The new release dates will be July 14th, 2023 and June 28th, 2024, respectively. We look forward to providing moviegoers with an unparalleled theatrical experience. And this is
unparalleled.
That is
out of this world.
Out of this world. In space. In space.
I really wish they would have said something like that.
Yeah, right?
Just to give you a little hint going, we are going to space.
Yes.
We're going to be the first movie production ever to be in outer space.
Ever. So one more thing that we've got to talk about before we get into the Book of Boba Fett, and this is because Dustin and I love going to this event, and also the food this year seems extremely delicious, even more so than the past years, is we got to talk about the Lunar New Year celebration that they're holding. I think all the Disney's resorts are doing it, but we're going to focus on Disneyland because that's the one that we can attend, and we're talking amongst ourselves to see if we're going to be okay to go. I feel slightly okay because we probably won't participate in indoor activities.
Yeah.
And we'll be outdoors and we can choose to walk away and eat away from other people when we have to take our masks to eat. So maybe potentially we'll be going, but we haven't really, we're not at 100%.
It really depends on how the rest of January kind of goes.
Yes.
So it's really up in the air. We really, really want to.
Yes.
And we're still kind of juggling around the idea of getting a season pass.
Yeah, we are definitely, because it's expensive, and we keep hearing people, oh, we can't get dates and stuff like that, so we're a little iffy. But we are going to give you a little visual guide, since we're going to talk about the food that they do have at the Lunar New Year celebration, because you guys know we are here we go. Let me just double check that okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and take a look, and you can keep an eye on the comments for me.
Okie dokie.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the Lunar New Year marketplaces, the food, and as always, they always do a sip and savor pass that you guys can see right here, 2022, and they give you, it used to be 8 coupons, now it's 6 coupons.
I wonder who decided about that.
Looking at you.
Trevor.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the food items. Where do I go for that? Where do I go?
Yeah, we want to see the menu.
All right.
We want to see pictures of delicious food.
Yes. Okay.
So I can go through it and be like, get in my belly.
This is just no.
We want pictures.
Yeah, I think I'll find it. The internet's going a little slow right now, and I don't know why.
It's because I have to do the whole upgrade thing that we talked about earlier.
But it wasn't like this before.
Well, now we're also streaming. But a lot of the cool things on the menu that we liked before are going to be there. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm really looking forward to that pork belly.
Yes.
That has been like the best thing every single time we went. So it's always been a little bit like, okay, I want something new to be the top, but I'm really looking forward to going and getting
here we go.
The food to get that one pork belly fried rice.
Yes.
And oh, it's so good.
Okay, so this is what I'm looking for. Hopefully this is now big enough for you guys to see. And these are just some of the items that they will have. This one right up here. This is the garlic. Oopsie. This is the garlic noodle. We have a spicy dandan pork, dandan noodles with pork. We have, I think this is actually a cold brew, pistachio cold brew, which is like, we don't have something like this for a New Year's celebration, Lunar New Year's celebration, but by all means, like get your cold brew, so let's go ahead and go through them.
The garlic noodles also sounds really good, mainly because I'm a huge garlic fan.
Yes.
Anything that says something with garlic, I'm like, yes.
Done.
That is a thumbs up for me.
Yes. And let's see, they have the cold brew is a salted pistachio cold brew with Joffrey's coffee and tea, French bistro blend coffee. Sounds great. Here's a couple of more food items. On the upper left corner, you have the shrimp fried rice with garlic, bacon, edamame. What? On the upper hand corner, it's the beef bulgogi
short rib
on rice,
I like it.
Salad, and then the 2 drinks. We have the peach yuja aid and the soju.
Ooh, soju.
Yuja aid.
Soju is so good.
Soju is delicious. I can have a little bit of it without feeling sick. But it is a Korean alcoholic beverage. And then moving right along, these next 4 slides, we have the prosperity bao and buns, which is nice. I think that's what the cart is called.
Because what is it? Pork is supposed to represent prosperity?
I think so. I don't know. My mom would tell me this, and it was like in one year out the other. Because as a kid, I was just like, "Can I
give me the food
so I can eat the food?" Have the ancestors eaten? Can I have them now? Because you have to offer them to the ancestors first. So you sit there and watch the food. You're like, can I eat it now?
But I want it to be nice and warm in my belly.
You'll heat it up. Let's see. We have, so upper left corner, we have the chashu barbecue pork bun with pickled red onions and jalapeno. And then on the right, Dustin and I were laughing about this. This is the Mickey Chinese hot dog bun. Brioche style Mickey shaped bun stuffed with hot dog and finished with sesame seeds and scallions. We laugh because we go to Taiwanese bakery and I literally had not a Mickey shaped one, but I did have a hot dog with a bun, with a brioche bun, and I had that for breakfast. So that's
so good.
I love that they were finally introducing something like this, that we can find at Asian bakeries into their Lunar New Year celebration. And then the next, let's see, these are drinks.
Let's see if we can focus on the food, because that's what we really want to get to.
Okay, so these next two slides, I will say, the top left-hand corner, that is the spicy 3-cup chicken served on a bed of jasmine rice. And to the right, I'm really excited about this. This is the lion's head meatballs, something my mom used to make all the time for me. All the time. And I can't believe I've actually never introduced Dustin to this. But
how dare you?
I'm sorry.
Not introducing me to delicious food.
What a crime. So this year, if we go, this is something we definitely want to order. I think everything we've read off so far, I want to order.
Yep.
And this is also a vegan option because they're using impossible meat.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. Served with cabbage and Shaoxing wine reduction. I believe that's how you say it. And then this right here, this is the pineapple and mango pie.
Ooh.
And I don't know if they're trying to make it like one of the Taiwanese, not a delicacy, but one of the what is it called when you go to somewhere and that's their food?
Oh, it's it's a cultural.
I know,
it's a cultural. It's usually also given a lot as a gift.
There's a word for that though. All right, if the chat can think of it, please put it in the chat because my brain stopped computing. But I wonder if they're trying to make it similar to the pineapple cakes that we get, because that one doesn't really have. Yeah, so we'll see. And also the shape of it is different because a pineapple cake, a staple.
Thank you very much, Wasted Poe.
Maybe that is the word I'm looking for. I think it's yes, but also there's I think another word. But in any case, we're gonna stick with staple for now. The traditional pineapple cake from Taiwan will come in it's like a rectangle, and it's filled with almost like a chunky pineapple jam in the middle. But it's not runny. It's pretty solid. And this looks like maybe a version of that, but in a pie form. So people aren't like, what's that square thing? Because this looks a little bit familiar for the people who are, being exposed to it for the first time.
Wasted Poe also put in their specialty, signature, and Alex Graham put delicacy.
Delicacy, maybe a delicacy. Maybe.
All of them are just throwing out.
Throw your adjectives and
main
verbs
course,
at me.
Zubumafu.
What? Oh boy.
Yeah, let's just go.
Thank you, Chad. I appreciate all of you
combined.
So much. Some of the other food items, this one's not pictured yet. There's a picture of it later on, but finally they were introducing us to actually there is no picture of this. The brown sugar steamed bun, which is a steamed bun topped with blue cream cheese icing. That's not how it's traditionally served. Normally,
you're making me hungry.
I thought you had breakfast.
I'm still hungry.
We have some leftover curry from last night, which we will probably heat up and have for lunch. But traditionally, it's just the brown sugar steamed bun. It looks like a little pillow. It looks like a little fluffy, but not as flat as a beignet. It's more like whoop, whoop, looks like that. But we don't normally serve it with the blue cream cheese icing. But nonetheless, we're getting it, and it sounds really, really good. Irregardless is delicious. And then for this slider that we see here, this is the hoisin pork sliders, which is marinated pulled pork on Hawaiian rolls with apple slaw. Yes, give it to me now. Give it to me now. We got a couple of drinks here, which we're going to skip right over, but we do have this year. I don't think they've ever had it before. I don't know why it took this long, but let's get it. Hong Kong style milk tea, which is black tea sweetened with condensed milk served over ice. And you can get that with boba, I believe. And they also have a brown sugar boba.
Yes.
That our friend Jason Sasaki Time on Instagram, who was a Disney blogger, have tried and can confirm he's like, this is really, really, really good.
If you guys want to actually check out his Instagram, he posts a lot of cool Disney stuff. He posts a lot of awesome food stuff. If you want a little bit of an insight into the world of Disney, check out his Instagram, Sasaki Time.
Yes. Let's see. This is going to be available at the Cappuccino Cart, which is the baked chashu bao, which is Chinese barbecue pork filled baked bun, which looks and sounds delicious. And then these 4 items are going to be available at the Paradise Garden Grill, and everything here, this is going to be exclusively at Disney's California Adventure. It's not going to be at Disneyland. So if you go to Disneyland and you're looking for this, you're probably not going to find it. You got to go to the other park across the way. But to the bottom right square, obviously we've got our brown sugar milk tea, and then the other 3. Let me just scroll down really quick. So, okay. Upper left-hand corner, we have the Korean-style barbecue chicken, which is half chicken with steamed white rice, kimchi, and pickled cucumbers.
Kimchi! I have to admit, I have recently become a big fan of kimchi. Because when you got this like non-spicy kind or like mild version, and it's like all this, I'm just sitting there going, yum, yum, yum. And I'm a big fan of kimchi now.
Okay, and then we have 2 jars of it right now in the fridge. Actually,
I have to probably start chowing down on some of it.
The upper right-hand corner, that is on a red plate. It is the spicy kung pao tofu, so it's deep-fried tofu with zucchini, yellow squash. I see cucumber. Nope. I see broccoli. I see carrots, zucchini or squash, and red peppers, and fried rice. Served with fried rice and deep fried chips.
Sounds
delicious. And then this right here, I know some people might be like, what the heck is that? Yes,
it's a fried
fish.
It
is a whole fish. It is fried. And don't judge it by its looks, because it is freaking delicious. It's served with sweet and sour sauce, steamed rice, stir-fried vegetables, and chicken soup. It is served family style for 2. Dustin and I have shared it before, but I could probably put away a whole one myself. This is something I grew up eating. And the taste, I would say, is like
authentic.
Pretty on point.
Oh, cool.
It's pretty close.
I can't tell whether or not it's authentic. I can just tell whether it's not or it's delicious. And it's delicious.
And
you do have to be careful of the bones.
Yes, be careful of the bones so you're not like swallowing it.
Yeah.
I swallowed a lot of fish bone growing up, because that's how we would serve fish as a whole, and it would be steamed. And my mom's remedy for if I was crying about how there's a fish bone stuck in my throat is eat a giant gulp of rice and it'll go down with it.
Huh.
That was the way. And I would sit there and cry because I didn't want to have a fish bone in my stomach, because I thought it was going to pierce through my stomach. And she's like, oh my God.
It's not that sharp.
Yeah.
Your stomach is strong.
Your stomach is very strong.
And the acid will just...
it's like the Starlight Pit. Last 2 items we have on the left here, we see some chicken wings. It's the gochujang wings, chicken wings in spicy gochujang sauce, which is a Korean spice. And then on the right, we have the Asian style street corn, steamed corn on a cob in spicy gochujang sauce, these are 2 brand new items. I don't think they've ever been introduced before. And I think, is that it? Oh, this is over at the Paradise.
And these are just like bite.
Lounge.
Ooh, what are those nachos?
These on the left here?
Are those the
I think they're wonton pieces. Those are, oh my gosh, we have to get
Korean style barbecue nachos?
Bulgogi pork. Okay, I'm going to say that one. I just lost my mind. Bulgogi pork belly, cheesy corn sauce, gochujang crema, fresh radish, and spicy cucumbers on house-made chips. We are going to have to make a reservation at the Lamplight.
Yep. I have to admit, you lost me a little bit with the radish, but everything else sounds
like the
good.
Korean dishes with radish is so refreshing and delicious. You got to have it with it. And then to the right of that, we have the kung pao bun, which is kung pao glazed crispy pork belly, chili peanuts, steamed bao bun, red pepper, and green onion slaw. And then on the left here, you see donuts. These are oolong donuts. So these are oolong dusted beignet donuts served with oolong crema, anglais, I think that's how you say it, and orange soy pudding dipping sauce. I mean, say no more.
Yikes.
Say no more. And then here's a couple of other items.
We got some cookies,
that you can pick
tiger
up,
tails.
because it is the year of the tiger. So they're going full force on the tiger stripes and the tiger-shaped things. I'm not mad at that. And I think that is it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing that screen. Sorry if I made all of you hungry. Let me go ahead and get this one troll comment out of here. There we go. Done.
Well,
What?
okay.
I
just
blocked somebody.
Okay, no, that's cool.
I said there was a troll comment.
I didn't even notice what it was. I mean, because it didn't look like it was.
It was one of those spammy links that nobody needs to click on, and nobody would have clicked on it anyways because I think we're all too smart for that.
Yep.
But any case, if we go to the Lunar New Year celebration at Disneyland, we will be taking our camera with us so we can share our experience.
Doing some
with you
vlogging.
guys.
Hopefully, we'll do a little bit of live streaming there too.
Mm-hmm.
So I am excited. I hope we can go down and do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the things that I do want to really try and do is if we do get our season pass,
Yes.
to try and do some live streaming at least like once a month from Disneyland.
Yes.
We'll find a little quiet place, talk about some of the cool stuff that we've done and some movie news, and then back to Disney.
Nice. Yes. I'm happy to say that mission accomplished. I've made some of our viewers very, very hungry. I Love Entertainment says, just ate bami for brekkie. So full, but all this food looks delicious. God, I want a good bami right now.
Mm-hmm.
MK says, about to eat some leftover takeout Chinese, but this just won't compare to any of this.
You know what?
I'm
There's
sorry,
so
MK.
many times that I get mad at Wendy because we're about ready to sit down with our cute little dinner, and she's like, "Oh, I want to bring up this Mike Chang video." I'm like, "No."
Anybody watch Mike
I'm gonna
Chen?
be
Strictly
so
Dumpling?
jealous of what he's eaten, and then I'm going to look down at what I thought was going to be a delicious dinner, and I'm just going to be like,
But
"It's
I want
not.
that.
I want that." So many times, but I still love watching these food things because it makes me want to go out and try so many different things.
Yes.
And all of this food looks delicious. I can't wait until we can go down there and share it with all of you guys, make some videos that will make you all hungry.
We have to wear stretchy pants.
Wear stretchy pants and maybe get like a little wheelchair that we can like just push ourselves around it, or like a wagon.
Yeah.
So we can, I'll get a wheelchair, tie a wagon behind it, and I'll just be like, because we're just not going to be able to walk because we're going to be so full.
Just claim some area on the sidewalk and just be like, or just leave us here until we digest.
And you know what? Honestly, something that MK is saying is that Epcot has the world's showcase with different countries represented. That's actually something I would love to do, is spend like one day at Epcot, but all we're doing is going from one country to the other, just getting different foods.
What else is there to do?
Yeah.
Just want to eat food.
And then maybe go on the Ratatouille ride.
Cute.
And yeah. That is one thing I wanted to kind of move to Florida just for like 1 year, buy a season pass to Disney, and then just do Disney World for an entire year and just kind of get all of it under your belt, go hundreds of times, and hopefully, you know what? Someday we'll be able to do that.
2025.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to count 2024 because I remember in 2020, I was like, maybe in 2021 or 2022. And now we're in 2022 and it's not that different. So I'm going to say maybe 2024. And also welcome to a couple of international viewers from New Zealand, Australia. Hello, and welcome. Thank you for being a part of the stream, you guys.
Thank you so much. I love it when we get international people onto our channel, because getting different food perspectives and different what is that called, just different insight and culture. I love it. Welcome.
Share it and love it. All right, you guys, it is that time that we finally get into the Book of Boba Fett episode 4 spoiler discussion. And the reason why we kind of stacked a little bit of some news up top is just in case we jumped into the spoiler discussion a little too soon. We thought that people couldn't participate, but we also wanted to give people some time to be like, oh, they're not talking about spoilers yet, I can be in here. And then by the time we talk about the spoilers, they can leave if they haven't watched the latest episode. So again, we're gonna be getting into spoiler territory for the Book of Boba Fett episode 4. If you haven't watched the latest episode, this next segment may not be the best place for you to be unless you don't care about spoilers. And by all means, stay. Let's
spoilers
talk about it, because they started this episode with some flashback to us,
which seems to be kind of the way they do really enjoy kind of starting off these episodes, is to be kind of just to give you flashback. But this seems like this is going to be the last batch of flashbacks we're going to get. Now, I was going to try to say last batch of flashback does, but that's just too much of a tongue twister.
Yeah, no, it was really great. Oh, hold on, I want to address this comment because I don't want people to think I'm like being disrespectful to their food and their culture. GFan86 says visiting Epcot is not the same as visiting a different country.
Oh no,
absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. It is getting maybe a little tiny sampling, and it's also like how I guess Disney's representation of that country. And I don't want to say like that this is the way it's going to be when I go to said this country. Like obviously the experience is going to be completely different because when you visit the country, you're completely 100% submerged in that culture, and you should absolutely take it in and respect it and appreciate it.
Like for example, when we went to Japan, and we actually went around Tokyo and we got some authentic Japanese food
ever.
Nothing here in the States or anywhere that I've ever been prepared me for the level of amazingness that is authentic Japanese ramen. And it was so good.
Yeah.
One of the things that actually Wendy and I would love to do one day is to kind of do just like a European trip and go to all these different countries, trying all this different food. We want to go back to Japan. We want to go back to New Zealand. Well, Wendy wants to go back to New Zealand. I want to go back for the first time.
I only got to visit a small portion of New Zealand. I was there for 3 days and we were only in Queenstown. So I literally visited a small part of New Zealand. Like I haven't really gotten to explore, but I'm so appreciative of my time there and experience.
Super excited to do that someday.
Sorry, back to the discussion. Sorry, I just saw the comment. I was like, oh, I should probably address that because I don't want anybody to think that I'm like dissing their culture, because I'm certainly not. Yeah, we got some flashback to us, and we knew that eventually we were going to catch up. You know, I think after episode 2 or even after the first episode, we're like, oh, we see what they're doing. As he recovers and heals inside the Bacta tank, he gets these flashback to us, and they slowly catch up with where he is today as he sits on, you know, his throne at Boba's palace. So we finally get to see how he comes across Fennec Shand in this episode, where he took her. And I like that they kind of addressed the mods in this, because we saw a glimpse of them, like we call them like the Mos Vespa gang, but we got to see a little bit more of their specific lifestyle and the mod parlor and how they fixed Fennec and saved her life, and sort of the conversation. I really enjoyed that conversation between Fennec and Boba, of how Fennec is like, well, we're hunters. This is what we do. And Boba sort of had a different feeling about it. And I think upon hearing that,
it really did kind of change Fennec's point of view, going, you know, you're right. I could be something more than just a hired hand to these imbeciles that happen to run an entire organization, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I've seen too many dumb decisions. I've seen too many people die needlessly, kind of a thing. And you know what? It's now going to be time for me to take the. I can move up in the world, so to speak, if I happen to pair up with Boba Fett.
Yeah. So, and obviously her life debt had been paid, you know, already. And he's like, where would you like me to drop you? And she actually made her own choice of like, well, you know, maybe I will stick around. And look at them now. They're building their own family. You know, they've just recruited Chrysanthemum to be a part of their group. They've got Fennec. They've got their Mos Vespa gang. And what's really cool, we heard, jumping to the very end, you know, of the episode there, because we're doing spoilers, so it's okay. But talking about after the conversation that Boba and Fennec had with the other families that's living on Mos Espa, and talking about how they're going to handle this Pike situation, you know, Boba Fett is like, you know what, if you don't want to fight with me, that's fine. I'll take the Pikes on by myself. But I do ask that you remain neutral. And it seems like everybody so far is at least in agreement with that. So we'll see how that plays out in the coming episodes. But that leads to the conversation of how much credits do you have? I got all the credits. Don't you worry about that. So
which
he has
kind of makes me a little curious too on how he got so many credits. True, I mean, he did kind of take over Boba Fett's. I'm not Boba Fett's. I want to call it Boba Fett's palace now. Bib Fortuna's / Jabba's palace, and they might have had some credits there. And he got some, what is that called? Tributes. But I don't know if that's enough to buy a small army.
Maybe Boba Fett had been just saving up credits after credits after credits since he's been doing his bounty hunting.
Oh,
and we don't know that,
but
he's been a bounty hunter for a long time. So I imagine
he would still have access to that money.
He doesn't seem like he's too big of a spender. It seems like he gets what's necessary to get the job done and to survive, and then he keeps the rest, which I think is super smart because he can use that credit now to hire some muscles. And what muscle are they going to hire? Cue the Mandalorian theme song.
I can't do it.
So good. So good. I had a feeling that we would see a cameo from Din in the Mandalorian. In the Book of Boba Fett. But the way they kind of hinted at that, it's a very obvious hint that everybody definitely caught.
And it's definitely one of those things now that if they don't bring in Din Djarin, people, I mean, I'm going to be pissed. It's like, oh, you tease us about this, not just once, but twice. You hear that Mandalorian theme song, and it's kind of like, oh, yeah, we're just going to put this in there just because it's cool, and we're not actually going to bring him in. I'm going to be like, I'm done with you. I'm done with it. I'm going to flip the table kind of a thing and be like, why would you do that to us? Getting our hopes up. But, now that you really think about it, it makes a lot of sense that Din Djarin would make an appearance in this, and a couple of the other Mandalorian characters. Because what is it? The name of this episode, if I'm not mistaken, is The Gathering
Storm.
The Gathering Storm. And it really does have a gathering theme. Boba Fett's gathering his ship. He's gathering Fennec. He's gathering his armor. He's gathering an army to fight the Pikes. Boba Fett actually is gathering all of these things to go up against the storm of Pikes that are coming for to Tatooine.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I can't wait to see the next 3 to see if it's going to end up just huge moments, big reveals, some badass action, because I feel like that is one of the things that we have been missing a little bit from this series. Like, there has been action, yes, but it hasn't been like, to me, this is a personal opinion. You can absolutely disagree if you've been enjoying it, and by all means, keep on enjoying it. Like we have been enjoying the show.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I expected a little bit more of the action.
Yeah, me too. I expected some like the fight choreography, the chase scenes to be a little bit, to be a few more levels up than what we are getting. I do have to admit, like, say, for example, the action and fight scenes and chase scenes that are in Mandalorian season 1 and 2 are definitely a couple notches above Book of Boba Fett. I feel like they did some skimping on this series a little bit. Like they're kind of like, they were trusting that the name Boba Fett would take them a lot farther, so they didn't have to provide as good of, I don't want to say quality, but it's still an enjoyable show.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm still enjoying what they're presenting. I'm still enjoying the characters that they have in the show. I just feel like they didn't quite put their all into this, like they put their all into The Mandalorian.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have 3 more episodes, right? 3, 4?
2.
2. What?
I think because we're on episode 4. I think there's only 6.
I got 7.
There might be 7.
Maybe 7. We'll find out. Or you guys will tell us. But I really enjoyed this episode a lot more than I enjoyed episode 3. So if I were to pick, I would pick, obviously, episode 2 was the favorite. Then episode 4. Then I would go 1 and then 3.
Yeah, I would go with you on that too.
Okay, Cyborg Goblin says 3 episodes to go.
Okay, so there is going to be a total of 7.
7, nice. Thank you guys so much. Shane White says the Crimson Dawn should make an appearance in the show.
If I'm not mistaken, one of the YouTube videos that I watched did happen to say that in Solo, when they first enter into Crimson Dawn, there's a song that plays while Solo and his crew are walking into you're first being introduced to Crimson Dawn. And they did a very similar song in what is it called? Book of Boba Fett episode 4.
Ooh, is Kira coming?
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if they're going to do an end credit scene with Kira. And she's the one that is now kind of taking over Crimson Dawn. And I'm going to
throw a pillow if she shows up out of excitement.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that's a good call to bring her into the world a little bit more. When you have a big name like that, you don't just let it lie and be like, oh, you know what? We don't need to talk about her anymore. I mean, she's still an active player. She was still being ruled by Darth Maul until, you know, he met his end on Tatooine. So I'm really curious on which way this goes. And I really hope they do bring in Crimson Dawn and in season 2 of the Book of Boba Fett or in season 3 of Mandalorian, which I think I don't know if they'll do that. I don't know if they'll do a season 2 of Book of Boba Fett or if they'll kind of merge season 3 and Book of Boba Fett into the same storyline. Actually, that's a question that I would like to ask you guys in the chat. Would you rather see a season 3 of Mandalorian and a season 2 of Book of Boba Fett, or kind of have these two stories start to merge a little bit to where you will see Boba Fett in the Mandalorian more often? I think I'd still like to see them separate.
Absolutely.
To where you have Din Djarin on his journey, but you have the Book of Boba Fett still exploring more of the not the scenic, but the underbelly, the dark underbelly of Star Wars.
Like the show, even though they're both, you know, the Mandalorian, they've met and everything, they still should have separate stories. And plus, you can kind of do what, like, my mind immediately goes to, for an example, The Flash and Arrow. You can have a separate Flash show, separate Arrow show, and you can do mega crossovers.
Constantly crossover.
So you can still give us the Mandalorian. And if they want to continue with the Book of Boba Fett, they can do that. And they just give us crossover events, which would be awesome. And I do want to call it, there's some really interesting comments in our chat. So I want to call a couple of them out. Cybo Goblin says they are filming a season 3 of Mandalorian right now, so they might merge. There was another comment. Okay, this one is from Dual. I'm going to put it up so I don't lose it. Dual MP5, according to the photographer, most of the budget went into the last 3 episodes.
Oh, cool. That means we're saving the best for last. I want, good. And I'm hoping that happens, is the fact that the first 4 episodes are kind of like, yay, yay. But then the last few episodes will be like, holy cow. And we're just on the last 3 episodes.
Cybo Goblin also says the armorer does have a Maldorian helmet and Death Watch allied with Maul. And there's an earlier comment. That's why this isn't making sense, because I am, there we go. Ring King earlier put in the chat, the armorer was a follower of Darth Maul.
So that
she reveals the helmet and she's Kira. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
That would never make sense. That would not make sense.
How did you get here? How did this happen?
Deep undercover. So episode 6 belongs to Dave Filoni. Maybe we'll see Cad Bane, because that'd be freaking awesome.
I want to see Cad Bane so bad.
5 might be Bryce Dallas Howard's.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
That I want, and plus when they did their episodes of The Mandalorian, they were
Show them your
amazing.
Shirt. Black Loki says trying to read Dustin's
shirt. Sorry, it's the web slinger shirt that I actually got from Jason Sasaki. When we went to Avengers Campus. Sorry.
Yes.
I'm talking about Star Wars, and my brain was just like, gotta switch. There we go.
And then Alex Graham writes, Omega, not necessarily in this series, but I love to see her brought in. We agree with you, because in the Bad Batch, if you guys watched that series, Fennec Shand was very much a presence in that series.
Yes.
So she, and this is, in the past, so she definitely knows about Omega. I don't know how much in detail she knows about Omega, because the scientist was the one that hired her.
Yeah.
To, so.
And I wouldn't be surprised if the scientist was just like, hey, there's this kid I want you to protect. And that's all the information that Fennec knows.
Yeah.
But it would be really cool if Omega recognizes Fennec. And then
her look hasn't changed.
Well, she would be. Well, yeah.
No, Fennec's look hasn't changed. Her aesthetic has stayed the same.
Ming-Na hasn't aged in the last 20 years.
She ages backwards. Just like Gina Torres. How?
Why does that happen?
Yeah. But that would be cool if they somehow address Omega. Maybe in the Mandalorian, maybe that's a better fit, perhaps. But I don't know, because this is the Book of Boba Fett, and Omega literally has a direct connection to Boba Fett. So like I would love to see even just a mention of it and the discovery of that. The dream would also be watching Tamora Morrison playing the older versions of the Bad Batch, the surviving members of Bad Batch. We don't know.
I think that'd be hilarious. You just age him up a lot more.
He can be Rex. He can be he can be Wrecker. He can be Hunter. He can be Echo.
That would be hilarious. Now, here's the question for everyone that is cheering to have Cad Bane in this season.
Yes.
What side do you think he'd be on? Do you think he'd be on the Pikes, or do you think he would be on Boba Fett's side? I personally think that it would be smarter to have him hired by the Pikes. Once they figure out that Boba Fett is, he's hiring some guns, we need some guns. I would love to see almost every single surviving bounty hunter that we have seen in the Star Wars universe ever show back up in this big showdown, to where we see Bosk. We see, actually Bosk probably should be on the Pikes team because of Black Chrysanthemum on Boba Fett's team. So we'll get just this awesome bounty hunter showdown, kind of like this big duel at the OK Corral kind of a thing. I would love to see that.
That'd be great. If they choose to give us, I would just be so happy if they chose to give us a live action Cad Bane, because that character design is so cool. I don't know how they're gonna pull it off like live action, because in animation he looks sick, but like with practical effects and makeup, like how do they do it? We have seen
his species before in live action. I think he was actually in A New Hope. That species, not him, but his species was in like the bar, I think, at Mos Eisley.
The cantina?
So yeah, I think he was at. So we've seen his species before in live action, but yeah, how do you now make him this iconic character from the anime, from the animated shows into live action? And I just love his voice. I love it.
Who voices him?
Ooh, that's a good question.
We'll do a quick Google
and we can quickly look it up. But I mean it would make a lot of sense too. Like maybe the first wave of Pikes goes up against Boba's bounty hunter team, and the Pikes just get their butts kicked. And
Corey Burton is the voice actor for Cad Bane.
He does have a little bit of, what is that called, synthesized voice, because it kind of has that that raspiness kind of, but it's a Clint Eastwood slash, but it's a little bit of like a robotic raspiness kind of a thing. But then when the Pikes get defeated, the Boba Fett seem like, yeah, we kick ass, we're awesome. And then a second wave comes in of Pikes, and that will have the bounty hunter teams, because the Pikes are kind of like, we need to up our game a little bit now. We thought we could just walk on in here
and the Pikes always have a plan of some sort. They're one of those.
And then Boba Fett's going to have to team up with some Tusken Raiders and some Jawas.
A lot of people don't think that what is her name? Like the trainer.
Oh yeah, warrior,
because we technically didn't see her, or the child, so they could still very much be alive. But again, we don't know. We don't know. All right, you guys. I think we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. But we can keep talking about the Book of Boba Fett next Saturday on the live stream right here, 2 p.m. PT on the Movie Couple channel. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell so you're notified of any new videos, contents that is going up, as well as when we go live. And if you can, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. It really helps us get more visibility right here on YouTube. And for everybody, tonight, we are actually playing in another TRPG tabletop roleplay game. This one is titled Kings of Dirt. It's going to premiere at 6 p.m. PT on the DAT Network on Twitch. So it's twitch.tv/the DAT Network. This is not D&D 5e. This is not Pathfinder. It's on a 2D20
system.
Yeah, and I think they utilize some rules from Savage World, if I can remember correctly, from like the actual book of it's the double run
Yeah.
adventure path essentially. So all right, we love
So
you
if
guys.
you're big fans of like Mad Max style kind of settings, come
Witness
and watch
me!
us. Witness me.
Yeah, it's very apocalyptic wasteland sort of a
Road
situation.
warrior kind of a thing.
Yeah,
Very
so
cool.
it's about to get very chaotic. That's the only thing I will say, because I can't wait for you guys to meet our characters, to meet the rest of the characters in the campaign. So if you're able to, hit up twitch.tv/the DAT Network, DAT Network, and we will see you there. Until then, you guys stay safe, stay healthy, eat well, and we will see you guys very, very soon. Bye, guys.